The problem with most politicians is that they think we have short memories, that the average citizen drowned in their daily struggles will forget. But we won't. A decade ago, a 23-year-old girl, Nirbhaya's gruesome rape and murder in the national capital shocked the conscience of this nation. We lit candles, we marched, we demanded change. One tangible outcome was that a Nirbhaya fund was constituted that is given to state governments every year. The purpose of this fund is to protect women so that no one else suffers what Nirbhaya did. Now imagine the horror when news breaks that special vehicles purchased to patrol the streets of Mumbai and keep its women safe are being used to provide security to VVIPs. 30 crore rupees of the Nirbhaya fund were used this June to purchase 255 cars and 513 two-wheelers. Of these, 47 were requisitioned to use as Y+ security for MPs and MLAs of the ruling Shinde faction, as per news reports that emerged on Sunday. Now, you know what the political response has been to this? That the Agadis also did this. My question is, how does it matter? Who cares if the previous government also did this? Is Netas using vehicles which are supposed to protect women for their own security justifiable by any means at all? Today on the show, we're going to hear your voices. What you think about this as we discuss NCRB data, crimes against women increasing day in and day out, and always ask what the solutions are. Here is a solution. Look at how it's being used. Call in and tell us what you think. The numbers are on your screen. But let me first play out for you the responses to this news report.
Whatever has been allocated for women is now being used for various other purposes. So this is nothing but misappropriation of funds that we got in to Mumbai so that we could make our women feel protected and safe, and are now being used for their services, at their service. So this is absolutely unacceptable, and the government will be held to account, and we've given them a 7-day notice. In case that doesn't come by then, we will take this further.
I don't know what to say because I have so many things that's going on in my mind as far as Nirbhaya case is concerned, as far as the funds that were allocated originally concerned. Now they brought it down, and now the misused. Yes. But it shows the people who are there handling things, if they are going to be utilizing or misutilizing. It shows they're capable of their mentality, insensitive people.
This is not only useless, but this is ridiculous, because the fund which was made during the UPA government, which was specifically made for the women in distress, which is diverted. And we always demand, in Rajya Sabha also we demanded that Nirbhaya fund should be utilized for the women only. But that is not been done. And if they are diverting that, we demand to the Minister of the Women and Child Development and to the government of Maharashtra also that fund should not be diverted anywhere.
It is absolutely an insensitive thing to be doing this, absolutely wrong. We all know that Maharashtra has been seeing so many atrocities on women, all kinds of offences against women. And instead of paying attention to that, you divert a fund like Nirbhaya to such things. I think it's absolutely uncalled for, and it's something that Maharashtra will never ever forgive.
We want to hear from you today. Call us 01206634986. The numbers are on your screen, and tell us what you think. I'm going across to my colleague Thoya first. She's joining me from Bengaluru, and she's talking to women over there. Swarali is joining me in Pune. Thoya, I'll come to you first. What are the women over there saying? You know, there was all this talk about the Nirbhaya fund. The Nirbhaya fund was constituted because we needed a real solution, not just talk. We needed a solution to protect women. And this is what is happening. Please tell me what women there are saying.
So yes, Tamanna, absolutely. Whatever you said, it's absolutely right. Whereas in 2012, this Nirbhaya case had happened, and after that, the government had initiated, the women leaders had initiated the Nirbhaya funds, to give a proper safety and security for women. Whereas now we have a woman over here with us right now, and she can tell us how important a girl's safety here in the societies. Please tell us, Nirbhaya funds are being misused, and now that girl safety is getting worse day by day. You being a woman, what would you want in the society? Please tell me.
See, in the 21st century, we as a girl, as a woman, I still feel, unprotected, unsafe. So, safety is a myth. So, even when we walk alone, it's like there's a constant fear of being attacked, groped, or even teased. So, there's always this fear below. So, how can we as a woman live in the society? Even in the 21st century, even though we say there is safety, it is a myth. So, yeah, and Nirbhaya Fund is getting misused. So, we won't prevent great actions from the government. Even though they say there is actions, there is preventive measures. Is it being taken? Is there an, successful or effective action being taken? So, I want the government to do something regarding that so that we feel protected, we feel safe about it. Yeah.
Thank you. So like this, Tamanna, these kind of voices that we are getting from the society and especially from women, and whereas now that it's become a trend, now the children also don't have any kind of safety to travel in the school buses because the drivers are molesting the children, and it is very unsafe for the women.
Thank you
in the
for that,
society.
Toya.
And also,
let me go across to Swarali in Pune. Swarali, what is the mood there? Even as this blame game has begun between the current government, Shinde Sena and BJP versus the Agadi, that you also did the same, what I'm not hearing is a denial. No party is saying that this never happened. They're just happy to blame each other, isn't it? What do women feel about this?
Yes, Tamanna, let us directly go across to women who are present with us and let us know what do they feel being women in this society. आप हमें ये बताइए कि आप एक महिला है, खुद क्या सोचती है सेफ्टी के बारे में, क्योंकि फिलहाल जो निर्भया का फंड बनाया गया था, जो गाड़ियां थी, वो कॉन्वॉय जो कि मिनिस्टर्स के कॉन्वॉय है उसमें यूज हो रही है, तो आप इसके बारे में क्या सोचती है? आप महिला है, आप वुमेन सेफ्टी के बारे में क्या सोचते हैं? आपको सेफ फील होता है?
सेफ फील होता है।
सोसाइटी में सेफ है।
सोसाइटी में हम सेफ है।
लेकिन ये जो फंड्स हैं जो महिलाओं के लिए बनाए गए थे, वो अब मिनिस्टर्स, ये जो गाड़ियां हैं जो उनकी सेफ्टी के लिए बनाई गई थी, वो मिनिस्टर्स के कॉन्वॉय में यूज हो रही है, तो आप उसके बारे में कैसे सोचते हैं?
नहीं मालूम नहीं है हमारे। कराटे हर एक को सिखानी चाहिए और हर एक को स्वावलंबी बनाना चाहिए कि खुद का रक्षा कर सके, हर एक महिला खुद की रक्षा कर सके।
जी, लेकिन ये जो गवर्नमेंट ने फंड बनाया था निर्भया, जो कि गाड़ियां होती है, अगर आप कहीं फंस जाती है सिचुएशन में तो आप कॉल करके बुला सकती है, तो ये गाड़ियां कॉन्वॉय में यूज हो रही है।
नहीं मालूम नहीं है।
Okay, thanks for that, Swarali. Now, Saira Shah Halim, writer and activist, is joining us on the show this evening. I'm speaking with Khushbu Jain, lawyer in the Supreme Court. Welcome to both of you, and thank you so much for speaking with us today on the show. Saira ji, let me begin, with your take, because the political bickering will go on. You will always have this tu-tu meme on why this is happening, but the fact that funds meant for Nirbhaya, for the protection of women, and specifically for vehicles which are supposed to patrol the streets, can be used for why security. What does that tell you about the attitude?
It just shows the callousness of the powers to be, that they're completely disinterested in the safety and security of women. Because here it is very clear that this was to enable the police machinery to effectively deal with issues relating to the safety and security. However, the funds are being clearly misappropriated, and they're being used for ferrying MLAs and MPs across the state. So here, when the safety of women in India is paramount, we have seen how honor killings, rapes, acid attacks, domestic violence, and so many other gruesome incidents are happening. But then they feel, no, the women are the second sex and it is not so imperative. Their issues are not so imperative. So let us use it for VVIP patrol. Let us use it to ferry the VVIPs across the state. And it is a very, very sordid state of affairs, which reflects the mindset of the powers to be in the country.
And Khushbu Jain, and I'm so glad you could join us today. I want to understand, is there no audit on how these funds are used? So the funds are given every year. They are being used to purchase vehicles. Now, where those vehicles are deployed at the end of the day is the discretion of the local police, the local state. Is there no one to audit this? This just happened to be something that came out of one statement of a police officer.
If I talk about the process, the same scheme which came under this Nirbhaya also had a mention about monitoring and evaluation of the fund which is utilized in a right manner. And if I specifically talk about monitoring and evaluation, then Ministry of Women and Child Development was responsible to review, to monitor the progress of sanctioned projects, schemes under the Nirbhaya fund, in conjunction with the central or the state ministries department. The second was monitoring and reporting mechanism to be followed at the state and UT level, and the level of the concerned, also at the level of the specific or the concerned government ministry or department, and should also form a part of the proposal. After that, the third was a strict monitoring will be followed for all the proposals, including those which have already been apprised by EC and funds disposed to the respective ministry department or the state UT. So I think the process of evaluation and the process of monitoring is already part of the same framework for the Nirbhaya fund which we are talking about. But I think in total, whether it has been implemented, not implemented is something which we have to we are still yet to see that who's looking and what kind of action will be taken if the funds are utilized like this. Also, I would want to attach that this is one of the incidents that has come out. But all of us see, and I think Mirror now has been very instrumental or very vocal about safety, women's safety in public places. And I have come at least in 10 of the episodes of where you're talking about public safety. Understand there also we were talking about that there are less number of women personnel on the roads. Safe cities yet not safe. If you're talking about metros like Delhi, Bombay, where women are not safe to come out, imagine the other cities, what kind of state would be there, and what kind of is there, because there is less fund or the Nirbhaya fund is not being utilized. So I think today is the time we should understand, or maybe put a link that there should be a proper evaluation or scrutiny to be done of whatever the fund has been utilized and whether it has been utilized for the proper purpose or not. And if not, I think there should be a dedicated way of implementing what has been stated in the same scheme.
I want to play out for you what the BJP said when this came out. Chitra from the BJP, the Maharashtra BJP, one of the politicians had this to say.
तो बस इसी का स्पष्टीकरण मैं यहाँ पे दे रही हूँ। 4 फरवरी 2022 को निर्भया के निधि से 220 गाड़ियाँ महाविकास आघाड़ी सरकार ने वहाँ पे खरीदी की है, और उसके बाद 220 में से सिर्फ 121 गाड़ियां ये मुंबई की 94 पुलिस स्टेशन, 94 पुलिस स्टेशन को दी गई। बाकी की जो 99 गाड़ियां थी, 99 गाड़ियां, ये 19 में 2022 को अलग अलग डिपार्टमेंट को दी गई।
Listening to what Chitra Wagh from the BJP is saying, she's not denying. She's saying they did it too. Miss Halim, this is what bothers me.
Yeah.
Like Khushbu said, they have gotten caught this time. But this has obviously been going on for a while, and this is only what we know about.
Yeah, so I think it's time to take accountability, because here, as we are talking about audits, definitely there needs to be a total audit of it, because how many funds were, given, and what exactly, how the funds were utilized, and how it was misappropriated, because there has to be accountability of the Nirbhaya fund. Because here we talk about saving India's daughters, but here we are using those funds not to save India's daughters, we're using those funds to ferry MLAs and MPs and VVIPs across board, which is completely unacceptable. So here some accountability needs to be taken. and also the people who are responsible, for the facilitation of the funds, they also need to be shown a mirror. Because I think everything, the central government has to work in tandem with the state governments and has to ensure that the funds are appropriated properly and proper usage of the funds, should be accounted for.
All right, Captain Jaspal Rohtak is on the phone line with me. He is calling in from Haryana. Captain Jaspal, thank you so much for speaking with us. As we are breaking the story, as we're looking at the levels of, I won't say just corruption, but apathy and callousness, what do you have to say to this? They're not even denying. They're not even denying.
The weakness lies with the women organization. They don't, and it is for them that they approach the Comptroller Auditor General of India, get the audit, total mileage used by the government, they charge it at market rate, and the ladies have to look after themselves. Otherwise, who will bear the tax? All of them are one. Thank you.
Absolutely, but I don't know if this is now going to NGOs. Why does everything have to be also fixed by the women? Khushbu Jain, I know Captain Jaspal means well, but he's saying now it's the job of NGOs to take this up and go to the CAG. This is an elected government.
No, absolutely not. Why NGO has to go for it? It's a process-driven thing. A state is utilizing where state is a duty bound to take care of city, irrespective of Nirbhaya fund or not Nirbhaya fund. Here, something which is allocated dedicatedly after whatever we have gone through that episode of Nirbhaya, the entire country was shook. It was in chills. After that, if you're allocating a fund, it is for a purpose. It is specifically aligned or dedicated for a purpose. You can't misuse or utilize the fund for some other purpose. And if it has to be done, usually it is done with proper due course and process to be followed. Now, what you're here talking about is not the state where fund is lying and it should not be used. We are seeing the state of affairs. How can you misutilize or utilize the purpose, the funds for which the purpose for which it has been utilized? I mean, you can use that for financial assistance to the rape survivors. We are seeing they're not being given the kind of assistance that has to be given their families, medical expenses, legal support, rehabilitation. There are so much to be done. And forget about this. Your cities are not safe. Every day there is some other instances which are happening to the Indian women, to the foreigners who are coming here. What kind of picture are you projecting in the world when you talk about that it is not okay to walk on the streets in the daylight in metro cities or in tier 1 or tier 2 cities of the country? If this state is there and you're talking about that NGO or people like you, me, or channels like you have to work and start acting towards it or start doing things instead of state doing its job, instead of what has been asked to do that. I mean, we are in a sad state today. How can it's not a job of me, you, or NGO or anybody else. It's a state duty to take care. And when such kind of things have happened, there has to be a procedure which is already there and actions should be taken accordingly. And I think ma'am was rightly talking about that there has to be a transparency and there has to be a accountability here which has to be done. And I think it has to be answered why this has been why this instance have come.
And the question about CAG, isn't that system already in place?
Yeah,
we already have that system in place.
That's what I started with. The system is already in place. All you have to see is that such instances, if this is coming up, you have to maybe understand that there can be more areas, more places where such kind of instances must be happening, because what we are seeing on the roads, what we are seeing in the city is not a safe environment. Hence, I feel the fund might be misutilized in other places also.
Look at the NCRB data coming in from Maharashtra and Mumbai. We covered this a few days ago, that this whole sort of veneer that only Mumbai is a safe city got exploded the day that Korean blogger suffered in the middle of the city. Rekha Agarwal has joined us on the show. Ms. Agarwal, thank you for speaking with us as we break down this big story that has emerged of the Nirbhaya fund and vehicles for the Nirbhaya fund being misused. How will this be reversed? How will this misappropriation be called out? Who's supposed to do it?
I think it's an absolute appalling state of affairs, and as the other speakers, mentioned, that the Nirbhaya funds had to be used for a proper purpose. That is to ensure that the schemes which are to be implemented for the safety of women, especially women's safety when they travel on the roads, those schemes should be implemented, and all measures should be taken to ensure that there are other schemes that can be, can be provided for the safety of women. But be that as it may, we are saying that despite the fact that a huge sum of, I was reading the statistics, that 5,712.85 crores have been doled out by the government, by the central government, in the name of the Nirbhaya fund. But where has that money gone? Because not only Delhi or Bombay or other metro cities, but all over India, we are seeing that the dismal state of affairs where women's safety is concerned, and there's a complete lack of any concern. There's total apathy towards women's safety. That is a matter which doesn't seem to concern anyone at all, until and unless it's almost like a knee-jerk reaction. A rape happens, a sexual molestation happens, like you just mentioned about this Korean blogger, who was assaulted on the roads of Mumbai. So, there's always a knee-jerk reaction. We'll have a TV debate. Some politician will speak about the ruling party, will come and try to defend itself. The other party, as you said in the beginning of the show, there'll be a continuous tu-tu meme.
Which is why, Rekha ji, we did not want to replicate this tu-tu meme. We did not want to replicate this tu-tu meme on the show, because there's no point to it.
What I meant was the tu-tu meme between the political parties.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And so therefore, as you asked me that what happens, what should be done, I would say that heads should roll now. As the other speaker said, there should be accountability, there should be transparency. No doubt public money has been misused. You're using the money, instead of providing safety for women, you're using it for providing vice security to, mantris, which means 1 escort car and 5 policemen in that car. So there's a complete misuse of the money which was, kept aside, for a particular purpose.
Let's be honest.
And therefore,
let's call a spade a spade. Let's be honest and call a spade a spade. This why security most of the time it's like a status symbol. Do they need it more, or do the women need it more?
Yes.
Who needs it more? Now we understand why miscreants get away with what happened to this Korean blogger. Where are the patrols?
And 5 policemen.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Why are you wasting time on this?
The patrols are there at the ministers' houses.
Let me get a quick last word from all of our speakers. Let me come to Khushbu for a quick last word. What do you hope to see happening now after we've gone big with the story, Khushbu?
I think this cannot be just a one-day discussion or a one-time discussion over here. We have to see, and we have to make sure to understand, irrespective of party. I think the other earlier panelists also talked about, it's not a party issue. It's not that who party misused the fund or which party hasn't, and how things should be around. But we are talking about women. We are talking about women's safety. And I think all the women of all the party, if not all the men, should align together in this and take this as an agenda to be enforced. What we saw at the time of Nirbhaya was a unity among people, among the women, among all the women group in all the political parties together, who felt that gruesome act, and hence this was a result. And what we see today is not that. So I think we should leave aside political party into stop naming which party where, but we should understand.
I mean, to be honest, Khushbu, I get your point that we need bipartisan support for this, but the party in power today, who is utilizing those vehicles today for their ruling MPs and MLAs, who is the one that will be questioned and hauled up. The opposition members don't have those vehicles today.
No, I completely agree with you. I am with you in this, but all I'm saying is let's not get swayed by this political thing, but let's be together, because it's a women's safety we are talking about. Be it party in center, or be it the party who's not there. But I think all of us have to go against whoever is misutilizing it, and I think a background check has to be done since the day the fund has been allocated.
Absolutely.
A proper scrutiny should be
Ms. Halim, let me get your point of view. Let me get your point of view of who is responsible and how do we ensure this doesn't just die down.
Like I said, like showing truth to power is a consistent process, you know, and I'm really glad that you are carrying out this pertinent discussion. It is really the need of the hour. And I hope everybody who is involved with this is listening to this, because the media will hold people responsible. There would be women there. There would be activists like us who would show you a mirror, who would, ask for accountability. So please, let's all ensure that the funds are utilized for the right motive and not misappropriated and misused. Otherwise, then, when we're talking about when we're talking about saving the women of the country, it doesn't actually hold any good, because here we are absolutely misutilizing those resources that are supposed to be kept for the safety and security of women. So let's all channelize this and ensure that there's proper streamlining of the funds moving forward.
Absolutely. We hope this message goes across loud and clear. There's no point saying they did it too. That doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it okay. And let's stop it immediately. Let the Nirbhaya funds be used for what they were meant to be. That's the least we can expect.